As I travel around the country, the one thing that is incredibly obvious is that most companies that I visit with all say that their systems are rigid and complex. SAP can help. We've overcame this problem ourselves, and it led us to create the business technology platform to simplify systems so that our customers can innovate and adapt to change like a startup. The real problem is complexity. It's really hard to innovate. You're spending all your budget just trying to keep the lights on. There's way too much data movement. There's way too many incompatibilities. Gartner Group predicts that there's going to be more change in the next 5 years than the last 50, and conquering complexity is the single biggest problem that has to be accomplished. The good news is that our mission since the day we were founded is that we want to make the world simpler and run better, right? We believe that the whole must be greater than the sum of the parts to maximize value. The key to this is modularity. Monolithic apps are really the past. The future is highly modular, real-time, and cloud first. Modularity is the key to conquering complexity. Most companies have a point A that looks something like this. When I look at this chart, what I really see is the complexity of the inside of a Swiss watch, right? All these gears have to mesh together. When they do, we can report our numbers to Wall Street on time. The future looks a lot more like the watch on my wrist, right? That watch, you never worry if you download a new app, well, let's say a new fitness app or a new bus schedules app, that it's going to mess up core timekeeping or the core calendar or the core messaging. The reason you don't worry about this is that there's secure connectors. There's a highly modular architecture that protects the inner workings of the watch from all the innovation at the edge, right? This is exactly the same playbook that we need for our enterprise systems architecture. SAP created BTP as a precision engineered platform for this modular future. It combines a lot of different technologies to make sure all this happens. The good news is that SAP is now using BTP for everything new that we're creating as well. So any customer that creates using BTP will stay lockstep with SAP and be able to take advantage of all the newest and innovations as they happen. The benefits of BTP are very broad. The top 6 are that it optimizes your business processes. It helps reduce your departmental silos. You get to a single version of the truth, so that way people aren't arguing about whose numbers are right? It enables true self-service analytics, and it combines both analytics and planning, so you start doing a forward-facing view of your business as opposed to only looking in the rearview mirror. It helps you integrate everything together. This is the basic premise of everything has to work well together for you to get great value from your investments. And lastly, you can now take advantage of the newest technologies like ML and chatbots and AI, and you can automate to make your people's lives better. When you put BTP on top of your favorite infrastructure cloud, you get the best of both worlds. With SAP, we help you run the business side of the house, like from optimizing your business processes to operationalizing new insights and automating to getting to a point where you're making better decisions in time to act and to defeating those departmental silos. With Amazon or Azure or Google Cloud Platform, you get the infrastructure underneath this business layer, right? And it helps you with things like optimizing compute, scaling your storage, being flexible with your bandwidth and adding bandwidth when you need it, and then adding data centers around the world as you need them as well. So what's the key difference between what we offer with SAP BTP and what the infrastructure guys do? And I think it kind of comes down to this. With BTP, you become much more productive. The best way I can describe this is through an analogy. Imagine that your boss walks into the room and says, hey, please create a huge Lego city that covers this entire conference table. We have some important clients coming in. We want to impress them. I need it done by Monday. My question to you is, would you do this by going to the store and buying pre-engineered Lego city kits for building skyscrapers and firehouses and fire trucks? Or would you start from scratch with the lowest common denominator, the Lego block itself? SAP is offering this. We're offering the city kits that are well engineered. You can hit the ground running and create the project, create the value for your business, while all our partners in the infrastructure world, they're starting from the lowest common denominator, that Lego block itself. When you look at a logical view of BTP, it looks something like this. The area in blue are all these city kits, so to speak, that we've created to let you get a quick head start in your project. The stuff in yellow are the development environments that help developers snap together and assemble these great solutions, right? This all runs on top of your favorite infrastructure. It helps you integrate all your different SAP properties with all the most popular enterprise solutions from other vendors that are out there. So it all really works well together. So let's imagine we're going to create a new supplier portal. You would take our portal technology, you would then connect it to all your other systems, right? You might want single sign-on, so you connect to our security modules to do that. You then would like to create work orders from the supplier portal. So then you got to do workflow components to make sure that those work orders get created within your back-end systems, right? And let's say the primary product of the supplier is analytics. So then you snap in analytics. So now you deliver the value to the supplier. And because you do business in 5 different countries, you might apply translation to make sure it all works well together. And you would use Business Application Studio to make all that work. So what's the key difference? The key difference is that we're delivering content, right? All this stuff is pre-written. All these microservices exist. They're 85% done. You would just finish it out by configuring an incredible application, right? We also offer content for integration. So you're able to integrate things together with open connectors. You can then automate things because we're actually creating bots that help you create that automation. We also have a great amount of content in the analytics space. So that way you don't start from scratch there. You start with a dashboard that's already created for your industry and modify it to your specifications. And lastly, we give you blueprints. So you don't have to figure out how to do it. You go to a use case and say, hey, I want to know how have other people used these technologies to assemble the great solution. Ultimately, this is all leading to becoming an intelligent enterprise. And it's incredibly important that you do become an intelligent enterprise. People are at this stage 1, right? They're trying to collect data and dump it into Hadoop systems. And what they're really trying to do is sense what's happening. But the big chasm, the next thing you have to do is understand why it's happening in time to make accurate predictions about the future, in time to act so that your customers now get the outcomes that they want. And that is actually how you get to the state where you're winning customers for life, right? You're gaining market share. The intelligent enterprise helps deliver that. So, in summary, why BTP? It enables a transition to becoming a real-time intelligent enterprise. It helps you win the battle versus complexity in the departmental silos that have become the bane of our existence with this modular, flexible model. And lastly, companies actually do become much more adaptable, much more nimble, much more resilient at a time that we absolutely need this. There is so much going on. We want to make sure that our companies can be resilient in this world. If you want more information, go to the SAP website for BTP. That's sap.com/BTP. I personally have a white paper that you can read. It's only 3 pages that kind of summarizes the topics I just talked about. And lastly, I have a new explainer video available at sap2021.com. Thanks again. My name is Bob Soklas. I'm with the Center of Excellence for BTP in North America.